Okay, thank you for joining. Today's workshop is Networking to Get Working, and we're here in the Llama Library with Guy Inaba and the SOS Workshop Career Series. And today we're going to share a little bit about how to network. My name is Angela Coloretti McGough, and I would like to tell you more about me once I can advance my slide. Okay, yes, no. All right. So let me introduce myself. My name is Angela Coloretti, like spaghetti, McGough, like cough, and I'm the counselor and coordinator at the Employment Prep Center. I can help you with your job search, review your resume or your CV, help you prepare for interviews. Definitely, you'll see me here at the library conducting these workshops. And I'm also the chapter advisor for our National Society for Leadership and Success. I want you to know that we're having a career and transfer fair on Wednesday, February 25th from 11 to 3. So it will be here in our cafeteria, also in the Llama Library, and you'll have colleges that you can transfer to as well as employers that you can apply with. We're also having a career closet, so you can get free clothing for your interviews or for the career fair. Stay tuned. There's more information coming out on a website and in an email soon. So today we're going to talk about what it means to network. So finding the right fit for you, understanding what the job market is like, going through some brief job searches and looking at the tools you can use. We'll discuss why networking is important and how to prepare for employment. And then you'll finish your brief survey. So if you are still looking for the right fit, I recommend that you go to our website, the MITA Canberra Center, and you can take a career assessment called Focus to Career. The MITA Canberra Center counselors, as well as myself and all of the program counselors, can go through your Focus to results and help you interpret them. What you're looking for is your skills and your values, as well as your interests. So not just what you're good at, or not just what you're interested in, but also the things that you value. So by doing job market research, you can figure out if you are in the right fit, looking in the right fit for your career. Are the organizations that you're applying to aligned with the culture and the values that you have? And is the job also aligned with your culture and your values? So you want to find this out. Typically, you can look at the website, written materials, and recruiters. So think about how else do you think you can find out this information? Where else can you find this information? Have any idea? What is that? So how else can you find out if your skills and values and interests are aligned with the culture in the organization or with the job? Yes, definitely. So you want to definitely look at the job description. So they're going to describe in the front, like we've looked at job descriptions before, where at the top they'll describe what they aspire. So like Kapi'olani Community College, lives by these values, Malama, Kulua'a, right, Kupono. So you'll see right up front what they value and what they aspire to do. And then the job description itself will describe what the skills needed are. So that's a perfect place for you to look. That's the first place you should look, actually. Another thing you can do is talk to people. So we're going to talk a little bit more about getting to know people who actually work there and conducting an informational interview with them. Here's a few websites where you can find out more information. So you can look at, the Hawaii Workforce Initiative. Also, so the Bureau of Labor Statistics has a bunch of reports. They're about 3 years prior, as well as occupations. So there's a lot of careers that are just starting that have a really good outlook. They call those bright outlook. And then also if there's green careers, it'll also describe what further education you need. So if you need to go back to school or if you need a certain certificate, you can find that out here with the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We do have a couple of job search websites. So I know you are familiar with the joinhandshake.com website. That's our career platform for ourselves and all of the UH community colleges. And then there's also other sites. So students oftentimes go to Indeed or Glassdoor to get more information. LinkedIn is also a place where people are going. So if you have a LinkedIn profile and you have your work history, you can actually open your profile so recruiters can find you. That's the case also for Handshake. So job description, which you mentioned, you want to definitely look at what the education is that's required, what skills you need. So sometimes, like if you're still a student, right? You're still a student, you're still learning. Maybe you haven't taken the certifications yet, right? So you don't have those yet. So what it will say is by when. So when do you need to complete? When do you have to have the certificate by? So you can still apply for the job, but you need to have the certificate before you're fully into the job. And then those are the things that are required, right? And then here, the desired qualifications or the secondary qualifications. So desired means it's something they want, or it's something that's, not primary. So with those things, they are interested in candidates that have those, but if you don't have it, it's okay. You can still apply. So I'm just going to go through the preliminary steps to apply. You need to have your resume. You need to have your work history. And then when you are getting into the interview process, you want to know, they will want to know what your salary history is. So you want to make sure that you have that available. Also references. So you want to develop professional references, and we'll talk about that. And then after that, you should be building a cover letter, getting letters of recommendation, and ensuring that you have your college transcripts available so you can send them out. You also need to prepare to be seen. So let's talk about that. Positive first impressions. So here's something I like to talk about with college students because we're not always aware of what we look like or how we're presenting ourselves. So your physical appearance. So how are you in class? What are you wearing? Are you wearing pajamas? That might not be the best first impression. What does your body language say? So are you like engaged? Are you paying attention? Do you sit up when you're, in class? Are you taking notes, writing notes? How are you engaging with the people around you, right? So if you have a positive impression with your faculty, that could go a long way. And also how you treat others. So even if you're not in class, what do you like outside, right? In the library, how do we treat each other, or on the bus, right? So yes, even when you're not in class or in your job or in an interview, your first impression, you could be making a first impression to anybody. And we'll talk about why this is important. And then the second impression. So let's say you go ahead and you apply for a job. So even though it's not necessarily part of the job application process, people definitely are gonna use Google. So I don't know who you are, but I will Google you to find out, right? So if I'm looking to hire you, I'll do a quick search and look for your name and then see what comes up, right? So that goes to the third bullet. So your social media will come up. So you wanna give them your Handshake profile link and your LinkedIn link. For you have a GitHub, right? So you gave them your GitHub link right up front. So that's how they will go and look at you. And that's a good idea. And then also for your voicemail, you can have a voicemail professional message, or you can use the regular one that just says, you have called 808, yada, 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 please leave a message, right? And so it doesn't even have to be your voice. Your email address, I recommend you use your hawaii.edu, or you create a whole brand new email just for your job search. And usually that's your first name, your last name at whichever provider you use. So oftentimes folks start by looking at advertisements and job boards, which is good. We should always look at job openings on the career websites, right? Sometimes we use recruiters. So we might sign up with we call it headhunting service, or like a staffing center, staffing agency, to help us to find jobs. Another way to find and connect with employers is through professional organizations. So if you were in IT, maybe there's a student organization for IT students you could join, or maybe there's like a junior chamber of commerce or a junior association that you can join. These are ways that you're going to network with people. So as you start going down this pyramid, you'll see that this is a better way, best way, right? So networking and word of mouth, this is what we're going to focus on today. Of course, if you know someone that already works there, that's a great way to find out if there's jobs available. And then if you already work there, you're going to know what's open to move laterally or getting promoted. So we're going to look at this light blue area here, networking, and how do we develop contacts that way. So again, these are the most effective ways, and we'll talk about networking now. So before we go there, when I say networking, what do you think of? Could be, yeah. So talking with other people, typically recruiters, that's a good way to network. You also can network with just other people who work in the industry, right? So we're going to talk about that now. So when you say talk about, this is how I kind of frame it. So it's just another way to hear what's about opportunities, right? So if I said, hey, what is your favorite restaurant? Like I'm going to be getting off around lunchtime. Where should I go eat? Would you tell me, give me some restaurants? Like, where do you go out to eat? Okay. So if I were to say, like, to another person, oh, I can't spend a lot of money, I got to go grab food, right? You might have some ideas. You might say, oh, down the street, you can go Kahala Mall, or, if you go to Ollie's Kitchen or to our bookstore, right? So you might give ideas. That's what networking is like. It's like if you're talking with your friends or chatting with your friends and they ask you for advice, like, what movie should I go see? Or what's your favorite show on Netflix, right? Or what are you watching right now on Apple TV? That's how networking works. You're just asking a question and you're getting a response. So that's the first part, asking questions. The second part is sharing stories. So if you were to ask me, if you were to say, like, oh, I want to go take my mom to go eat, probably can't spend more than $20. And she really likes ramen. Where should I go? Right? So I would give you some examples, like, oh, you should go here. My son and I go there all the time. They're really friendly. It's super fast. The food is delicious and it's not too expensive, right? So I'm sharing a story with you about my experience. It's the same with jobs. So you might say, hey, I'm thinking about working at such and such, right? And if the person works there or they know someone that works there, they're going to share that with you. So when you're networking, you're developing professional reciprocal connections. So what does reciprocal mean? So it's great. So it means, like, it's not one way. So you're not just saying, please, please, please help me, and that's it. You are actually asking for something, but you're also going to reciprocate. So you're going to give back. Right now, maybe you can't do it. You're a student. You don't have the connections, but you never know. Like, there could be something someone else wants that you can connect them to. So the way that we network is we start with you, right? And so, of course, we've already talked about your faculty, and we've talked about professional associations. This can include your alumni group. So if you transfer to another college, which you're thinking about, there's going to be, we have a KCC alumni group, and then you'll have your next institution's alumni group. People that you have worked with or you currently work with, they might know people, right? Especially if you're doing a good job. So if they like you as an employee, then yes, they will give you some ideas. Your counselors, so the person who you meet with to schedule your classes. And then, of course, we don't ever think about it, but people we're related to, our friends, and even our classmates. So these are people you may not think about, but they can actually help you to find a job if you just ask. So how do you build your network? Through informational interviews and the typical other places. So over the phone or by email, at job or career fairs, at information sessions. This one is not really typically known. So online, like I mentioned, through Handshake, LinkedIn, or Facebook. You can also find people to network with in these areas. So of course in class, and we talked about student organizations, but when you go to your internship, that's the best place to find people to talk to and network with. When you're doing a good job as an intern, people want to help you naturally. And then of course we talked about professional associations again, but there's also community events. So you could just be out at like, I don't know, like a IT panel presentation, right? And so your class goes, but then the presenter is someone you're interested in talking to. You might meet them and talk to them and then network. And then of course, Kapi'olani has their own alumni events. So that's something you will hear about once you're at that place, graduated. So it's difficult sometimes to think about how do you start a conversation? Like, what do you do, right? So you're trying to network with people. What do I talk about? I know that I want to pursue a career in blank. So you want to ask them questions about themselves because it's easier to talk about yourself, right? So you want to ask them like, how did you get to where you are? Or what did you find the most challenging when you were a student, right? How do you like working here? So simple questions that you can ask for people to respond to. Yeah, they just have to think about their own experiences. People also like to give advice. What's your best advice about how I can get an internship? What are your suggestions? Excuse me. I'm thinking about applying for this job at this company. What are your suggestions as to how I might fit? Or I'm going to be applying for internships. How can I make myself a stronger candidate, right? And the best question is, what is your opinion about blank? So people always have opinions, and a lot of times they're willing to share it. So these are conversation starters that you can use. Now, so when you're talking to people, it's not only about me. I'm not going to sit there and say, like, tell me this. I'm going to ask you questions, and then I'm just barraging you with questions. It's a conversation, right? So a way to make contacts is to share your interests and the things that you're strong in. And so they'll get to know you better, but they'll remember you. So we have this upcoming career and transfer info fair. They're going to be meeting a lot of students. So you want to make sure you have a conversation where you're sharing something about yourself as well. It's going to help to broaden your possibilities. And then also they might think about something. So maybe it's not perfect for their opportunity, but they know someone and they'll refer you to somebody else. So we're going to pause and try it, and I'm going to practice with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce ourselves. We know each other already, but I'm going to ask you, what's an activity that you enjoy doing? What do you like most or least about it? What advice would you have for someone who's new doing this? And who else can I ask to learn more about it? So some examples could be if you have a hobby. Like the other day, we had someone who participates in archery, like they actually shoot arrows. That's incredible. I don't know anything about it. So that's something I could ask about. Maybe I want to learn how to learn coding. So I could ask you like, how did you start? What do you like about coding, right? Maybe you play sports, or maybe you take care of specific people. Whatever your activities are in your daily life, we're going to talk about that, and then you'll ask me. All right? So we're going to go ahead and pause, and then we're going to do this activity. Okay, great. So just to wrap this up, so the next step is to figure out who else can I interview, who else can I talk to, or if something I'm telling you you want to continue to talk with me about, you want to close out and make sure that we continued the conversation later, right? So these are some ways to end the conversation. So you want to definitely thank them, right? Thank you for taking the time to talk with me. And then you can actually ask them, so like, can we meet later? So coffee is kind of typical, right? Can we grab a cup of coffee? Or do you think I can chat with you again later? Or, can I have your business card? Is it okay if I email you? Your comments really help me, but I have to go. Can we meet again soon? So again, you're ending with a question. Or if it's not someone that you want to continue with, you just thank them. Like, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. But the point is, you want to connect and continue, right? So you're going to usually you ask for their contact info. Like, do you have a business card? Or is it okay if I email you? So you want to make sure you get their permission to continue the relationship, even if it's like not a significant relationship, it's still a connection, and that connection becomes part of your network. Do you have any questions for me? None? All right, so again, here's my contact info. Our general address is CAP-CC EPC, so Kapiolani Community College Employment Prep Center. And we can make appointments. I prefer we use Star Balance, but you can also always email me if you have any questions. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.